Stay tuned for Retire Your Way with Dale Sudis, a leading financial retirement strategist and the founder of Sudis Financial and Insurance Solutions, right here in Fresno. Every week, Dale discusses pressing financial topics of the week, ranging from reliable income strategies to our financial markets, including Social Security, tax strategies, wealth management, RMDs, legacy planning, long-term care solutions, and most importantly, how to make sure you have enough guaranteed lifetime income to retire your way with choice and dignity. From taxes to trends to total transparency, Dale covers it all. And now, here is Retire Your Way and Dale Sudis. That's right, friends. This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudis of Sudis Financial right here in California. If you want to get started on your own no-cost retirement plan, you can give us a call and get to know the team here. There's no obligation for that. 833-856-1382. Mr. Dale Sudis, what's on your mind, my friend?
Well, it's been a busy couple weeks now. Things are going good. I had a really nice couple come back in. I first saw them last year, end of the year, and they came back in, and I hadn't seen them since then. But they had been thinking about all the things we've been talking about. I gave them homework. They did their homework. I did their planning, and he's finally retired. And he says, "Let's get this thing rolling. Let's get it started." And so it was really encouraging to see them. And so we're starting to set up some accounts and start setting things up so they will be confident that they will have, their retirement income and their money will last and they'll be able to do all the things they want to do. It was really one of the best things you get out of this line of work, where you can help people be confident about their retirement and their future.
Yes, that is exciting. I think we can say that's why you do what you do, is being able to see people achieve their dreams.
Yeah, because I don't need any money, do I? Because I just want to do it for fun.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. But I mean, if you help people, if you do the right thing in what you're supposed to do, you don't worry about the money, right? So that's a beautiful thing, because I have times where people come in. I had another couple who there's nothing financially we could do to help them. Not that they need the help. They just needed some coaching on a trust and some other things. And, we spent time, and they'll come back because there's some other questions. And I told them, you bring these statements, let's look at it together so you understand what you have. But there's no opportunity for us to make a dime, which doesn't matter. They just need the proper coaching, a little hand holding right now. Their advisor has moved out of state. So I said, I don't mind helping. Just bring your info in. I'll coach you on it. So it's you do the right thing. You don't worry about the money.
Yeah.
I could pay my bills, so that I'm happy.
But let's go back to that first couple, if you don't mind. Now, did she work as well? So he was ready to retire. You said they, so I'm guessing there were two of them.
He was the main worker. She does some work out of home, even now, but it's I'm not going to go into what it is, but and that'll last a few more years. But it's not anything that's going to interfere with their goals in retiring.
So would you say that her Social Security is probably going to be based more off of his earnings or her own?
Yes. In fact, I think, if I remember right, I coached her. One of the things I asked her to do is contact Social Security and find out, can she now that he's getting ready to start his Social Security, to see if she can file off of his record, which would increase what she's getting instead of getting off of her own record. Yeah, exactly.
All these little fine-tuning pieces that are so important. We call that the retirement red zone, anywhere between, of course, 0 months to 3, 4, 5 years out. Make sure you talk with someone so you can have that peace of mind. This couple does. So they're going to have their income, as you like to say, their paychecks and their playchecks?
Correct. And eventually they're care checked if they need help. And I really refer to the red zone as like the Baby Boomer Dilemma movie. It's the 5 years before and the 5 years after retirement. Those are the important times to make sure you're not taking a lot of volatility, so you can keep your money, get things set up properly for your future.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we do here and what we can do for you too, our radio listeners. Let's get you started on your own retirement plan. It is retiring your way, and that's what Dale and the entire team here do for you, is help you be and stay retired. Let's just evaluate where you're at right now. There's no cost to do that. You can ring the phone number 833-856-1382. That's going to go directly over to the call center. That's not going to interrupt the program here. You can schedule an appointment and sit down. Start with Dale and the team. We've got our intake specialist. You're going to meet Katia Flores. Eventually, you're going to meet Dale. We'll just see what you do or don't need for your retirement planning. How many things have you figured out? One of the things that I would like to talk about today is, well, the toolbox. Dale, do you remember the first toolbox? Were you ever given a toolbox as a kid? Where was your first toolbox?
Okay, so that was fun. You made me think about that. Back, I think it was junior high, we actually made these metal toolboxes. So we learned how to cut the metal. I think it was aluminum. Anyway, and we learned how to, shape it, bend it. We learned how to do spot welding, and most of my spot welds worked. Put the hinges on, and it was only maybe about 6-7 inches wide and about, a little over a foot long. And, it was a nice little metal toolbox. And, I remember making my first toolbox.
Wow. I had never heard that before. And then you had to you needed tools to make your toolbox. And then you had to put tools in there, right? And you started out with the basics, I'm guessing?
Well, I didn't need the tools because they were all there at school. But, Dad had, he had this chest of drawers, big chest of drawers with all kinds of old time tools in it. But yeah, so I brought that toolbox home after, I built it.
Well, some of our radio listeners might be wondering where I'm going with this. I want to discuss today the retirement toolbox. Exactly. And what are the tools that we put in there? I remember the first toolbox I got as well, and I still have that. And you started out with your basics, given a hammer, nails, and a ratchet set, and screwdriver, and multiple screwdrivers sometimes, pliers. Yeah, the basics that you need in there. And there are actually some folks out there who actually do have those first financial tools, maybe old 401ks, maybe old insurance policies that they started a long time ago. So on today's program, I want to talk about all the different tools that we can use for retirement planning, along with investment planning and estate planning. There's all different types out there. And when I start to think about some of those big box hardware stores, right? They've gotten so big now that going into any kind of store like that, it can be overwhelming looking at all the tools. Could we say the same thing about financial tools?
And it can be fun too.
It can be a lot of fun. It can also be dangerous if you get the wrong ones.
Fancy tools out there.
And expensive tools. And, we want to use the things that are efficient, and you want to be able to get the tools that you need for the job that you're trying to accomplish. So there's a lot of fun that we can have with this today. Yeah. So let's start out with the beginning, though, that retirement toolbox. Usually, I think those main tools that are in there, those hammers, the screwdrivers, the pliers we start out with, is probably the 401k, or maybe even our early IRAs is right. And,
right.
How do people really know how to even use these tools when you're starting out?
Well, that's the interesting thing and sometimes scary thing. So, you start working for a company and you find out, oh, they've got this retirement plan and I could put money into it and I can save taxes today. And then when I retire, I make less money and I take it out and I pay less taxes. That's the theory, right? Unfortunately, that's not accurate for, most people in retirement, because now they have to take that money out. It's taxable on top of whatever other income they have. And if they've developed a system where they have a pension and Social Security, then they could be paying more tax on that retirement money that they, thought they saved taxes on than necessary. But yeah, a lot of times it's those 401ks. If you're working for the government or schools, you're getting maybe a 403b that you could throw money into, things of that sort. So there's a variety of those profit sharings, 457 deferred comp. There's a variety of tools like that designed for retirement. But the important thing is, how is that tool going to help you down the road, especially when it comes to taxes. So there's other parts of your toolbox you have to look at. How's it going to affect you in the future? So do you want tax deferred or do you want tax-free tools for your future?
Yeah, that's a huge conversation. We're going to continue to talk about taxes as well. But one of the most common things I still hear, it doesn't matter what walk of earth I talk to with people who are starting out with their 401ks. They say, how much are you putting in? Do you know how much you can put in? And I always just hear the phrase, well, I'm putting into the match. And I'm talking about people in their 30s, talking to people in their 40s. I know I'm putting into the match. That's what I've been told. And it's one of these things. And I'm like, is that as much as you can put in? I don't know. That's just what I've heard. Make sure you put into the match.
Well, yeah. I mean, I do recommend that too. Especially if it's tax deferred, at least get the free money, which is the matching money. So if they say you could put 5% of your income in and they'll match 5%, well, put 5% in. And, now more and more there are Roth 401ks being offered, and some companies are starting to find ways where they can match that too. So there's a variety of things that can be used, but let's say you only have the tax deferred one. Well, maybe you match it this year, you put in and they match it. Next year you can do what they call a backdoor conversion and convert that, pay the tax on it and the matching amount, and have that for future use tax-free instead of taxable on top of whatever, your other income down the road.
Yeah, let's continue to talk about it. The 401k, it's one of the tools in your retirement toolbox, probably one of the first ones that you've used, but are you maximizing it? How have you made your elections? Are you using target date funds? What other kinds of tools might be coming? All of that and more in the next segment here. Don't go anywhere, but let's get you started on your own retirement toolbox so you can retire your way with Dale Sutis. Call the phone number. Let's get you started on that. There's no cost. There's no obligation to come into the office and sit down. Let us do a review. Let's look at those retirement tools, your 401k, and see if you're using it to its maximum ability for you. 833-856-1382. More with Dale Sutis right after this.
Are you worried that you waited too late to start your retirement planning? That you waited too late to start saving? At Sutis Financial, we believe it's never too late to start planning for your future. We can help you develop a personalized retirement plan that is tailored to your current needs and goals. The team at Sutis Financial will sit down with you and provide an evaluation of your current path, including your investment strategy, tax planning, and risk management approach. We'll help you identify potential areas for improvement and work with you to create a retirement plan that is designed to help you work towards having financial security and peace of mind in retirement. It's not too late for you to get started with Sutis Financial. Call us today to schedule your complimentary retirement planning session. We believe we can help you get on the path to financial security and peace of mind in retirement. Call Dale Sutis and the team at Sutis Financial to get started on your own complimentary written financial plan. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way with Dale Sutis of Sutis Financial right here in California. If you want to learn more about Dale and the team and when his next live event is going to be that you can come to, you can go to the website Sutis.com, SOUTAS.com, and click on the events tab. There's no cost to come, but we would like you to register to make sure you've got a seat and you don't run out. We want to make sure that when you show up, we've got a place for you at the event. And then you can ask Dale any of the questions you have about your retirement planning. We're talking about your retirement toolbox today and what are the tools that you have in there. The 401k. Now, a lot of times, especially for younger people right now, they're being automatically enrolled, or the whole idea is that you're self-directed. How do you feel, Dale, when you review folks' 401ks on how they've done with elections? What do you see more, that people have taken too much risk or too little risk, or what do you think?
Well, think about it. Let's compare. It used to be companies would offer pensions. So the company would take money, set it aside, invest it with the goal of providing you what they call a defined benefit or income in retirement. But companies are getting away from that because it's very difficult to figure out, well, how do we save and how much it earns? Will it be able to produce what we say it's going to guarantee them? So they're shifting more to the 401k, defined contribution plans. So more and more when I see people's plans, what I see is they with their limited knowledge, typically are trying to invest. How do I invest this? My guy says, "We'll do it this way, like a target date fund or whatever." So sometimes, especially they're getting close to retirement, they are taking on still way too much risk. So that I've seen, sadly, too many times where people get really close to retirement. I'm going to retire, in 6 months. And then all of a sudden the market crashes and they say, well, I can't retire yet because my 401ks dropped, down 20, 30, 50%, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're stuck, and that's no way to be. So as we progress towards retirement, it's smart to have that reviewed and know how you've got it structured. Even the government now, with some of the new laws, are encouraging 401k holders to use annuities as a tool within their 401k. And you might think, well, annuity, why would we do that? Well, it's the only tool that you can use some of your savings to provide additional guaranteed lifetime income. And it can be set up for just you, or it could be set up for you and your spouse. So they're recognizing in retirement, more and more people need income. Social Security is probably not going to cut it for most of us. So we don't have pensions. So how do we use some of our retirement savings to make sure our income will last and keep up with inflation and so on?
Yeah, and that's exactly why we want to know what are those elections that we're making in there. And there's 401ks that are more robust than others, but even that, I can even think of my own. I'm telling you, I was looking at it a couple of years ago and dialing the different percentages that I'm allowed to put in there. I believe I checked the box that said rebalancing, but I don't know how often they do it. I should call and ask that question myself. Mm-hmm. The thing is, the onus of how we put together a portfolio to get us to retirement, if it's in that 401k or 403b, it's on us to make those elections. And I'm worried about people who might wait 30, 35 years getting to the doorstep in that retirement red zone that you're talking about and going, how'd I do? Sure. Shouldn't we know how we're doing before we get there, especially when it comes to the elections and the 401k tool?
Oh, no, just be surprised.
Come on.
Now, let me throw this out for people. If you're listening, there is a wonderful movie that helps you understand especially how to make sure your retirement income can be structured solidly. And it really talks about the defined benefit programs like pensions, and it compares us to the defined contribution programs like 401ks, and helps us understand, that was America's retirement experiment. The movie's called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. It's only 85 minutes long. If you contact our office, whether via the website, call us, whatever, we'll give you your own copy of that movie. And normally it costs $30 with all the extended interviews. We'll give you the promo code that'll take it down to $0. You'll own the movie. You can actually watch it over and over if you want to, but you'll get the point by watching it. It's an excellent movie, and it really goes into what we're talking about right now. How do you structure things, especially as you get closer to retirement, or you're already retired? Are you still taking on too much risk? Are you thinking you could just pull money from these retirement accounts or 401k as it goes up and down with the market and it will last? That's called the sequence of returns, and it likely won't last using that method.
You also mentioned something about the possibility of annuities in 401ks. I'm going to come back to that in a second. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. For our radio listeners out there, if you want to sit down with a retirement income specialist, financial planner, Dale Sudas and his team, you can give us a call. There's no cost. There's no obligation. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. Folks are literally standing by right now to schedule that appointment for you. An annuity inside a 401k plan. Wow, I get it. The idea of creating your own pension plan. Do you know what kinds are going to be in there? Isn't that the big question mark? What kind of annuity is going to be in there? What are the costs going to be? And what happens if you want to move employers?
Yeah. Well, keep it simple. There's three basic types of annuities. Variable annuity tend to have a little bit higher, a lot higher fees, because you have the insurance contract and the mortality, benefits and income benefits of that contract. So there's fees that the insurance company impose, but then you have your investments that have fees, and that money can fluctuate. So you hear all these negative things about annuities because of primarily variable annuities, but they have their place. I actually don't use them, never have, never will, but they do have their place. You can have money grow tax deferred, even if it's a 401k, obviously it's going to be tax deferred anyway, and they have certain benefits built into them. The other type of an annuity is what they call a fixed annuity. It's much like a CD at the bank. You put money in, you get a guaranteed interest rate for a set time period. There's no fees on fixed annuities, and there's no risk either. A variation of a fixed annuity is a fixed index, where instead of putting 4 or 5% into your account, all the insurance company is doing is buying options on, let's say, the S&P 500 or PIMCO or some index. And if the index goes up, you can participate in the upside. If the index goes down, you do not participate in the downside. So you can go up with the index, but you can never go down. And sometimes those can produce even better than the 4 or 5% rates of return. And a lot of those can have even what we call income riders. A rider, what's that? Like on a pony? No. You buy your spouse a $10,000 ring, and you find out your insurance policy, your homeowner policy only pays up to $2,500. So you buy a jewelry rider, it costs $20-$30 a year to cover that $10,000 ring. It's a rider, it's extra benefits. Sometimes some of those do have fees to have those extra benefits. A lot of the ones we use have zero fees, even with these income riders that you can have on top of your fixed indexed annuity. The last type of annuity we don't use very often. Occasionally we do. It's what we call an immediate annuity. You put money in, you give an insurance company a chunk of money, and they immediately give you income for a set number of years, or for life or joint life. And again, no fees on those. So that's your variety of annuities. Now, how do you use them in a 401k? You don't throw all your money into annuities by any stretch, but what if, based on what you need to pay the bills, what you need to play and enjoy retirement, and eventually to stay out of a nursing home for care, what if you need to use a portion of your savings to create additional guaranteed lifetime income that can also increase and keep up with or even beat inflation through the years? Then we might use a portion of your retirement to set up an annuity that we can turn income on at whenever we want it down the road, or even immediately if you really need it right away. So they have their place, but again, don't be fooled. You don't throw all your money into annuities. Anybody saying to do that, they're looking after themselves instead of you. So, you have to have everything set up properly. You want to be able to have money that you can grab when you have a need or something comes up. You got to replace the heating, air conditioning unit or whatever. So, we have to have a balance in our portfolio.
All right. So, folks, you can get your own, not only the portfolio review, but let's review that 401k that you're working with right now, or even especially your old 401ks if you've moved employers. These are the funds that you're choosing to get you to retirement. Do you have the proper percentages? Do you have enough to be able to make sure that's going to get you to retirement? Are you taking too much risk or too little risk? Do you know if what you've chosen for a portfolio for yourself in your 401k is working for you? If you don't, give us a call. Let us do that portfolio review, which includes your 401ks you're currently working with, 403bs. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can go to SUDIS.com if you'd like to learn more about Dale and Katya and the entire team here at Sudis Financial. SOUTAS.com. That's SOUTAS.com. And also go to the events tab there. You can find out about all of the live events that we have coming up, so you can come and ask Dale a question in person. Now, don't heckle him. Be nice to him. Let him finish the presentation, and then
they can heckle because I can heckle back.
You don't mind?
Yeah, we have 2 more events this year, and they're both at Fresno State.
Wonderful.
So again, and we don't have a giant room. So if you're interested in meeting our team and getting a good overview, a lot of people keep saying, wow, I learned a lot. And that's nice. But at least, it's a nice setting, and it's a wonderful place to have it there at Fresno State. It's high tech. I love the setup there. So reserve a seat if you can.
Okay, more with Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial right after this. Call the phone number, go to the website, 833-856-1382. Sudas.com is the website, SOUTAS.com.
Retire your way with Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial, 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Will you outlive your money? It's a scary thought, but it's a real concern for many people. In our opinion, that's why it's crucial to have a solid retirement plan in place. We believe that with proper planning, you can work towards making your money last as long as you do. Don't wait until it's too late to start thinking about your financial future. Call Dale Sudas and the team at Sudas Financial today to learn how we can help you create a retirement plan that can potentially help you obtain peace of mind and security for years to come. Don't let the fear of running out of money in retirement keep you up at night. Take control of your financial future today. Start your Retire Your Way review and financial plan by calling 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
You've heard the phrase, you don't know what you don't know, and we believe it's especially true when it comes to retirement planning. There's a lot of information out there, and it can be overwhelming and confusing. So how do you know what you don't know? Social Security, RMDs, estate planning, investment risk. These are just a few of the many areas that a financial advisor can help you navigate. But what else don't you know when it comes to retirement planning? Are you aware of all of the tax implications of your investments? Do you know how to optimize your Social Security benefits? What about your long-term care and estate planning needs? We believe that by working with a retirement planning advisor, you can uncover potential blind spots in your financial plan and gain a better understanding of your options. Don't let unknown factors potentially derail your retirement. Call Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial to uncover what you may not know about your retirement future and start your complimentary written financial plan. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can write Dale at dale@sudas.com. That's SOUTAS.com. Welcome back to Retire Your Way with Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial, financial advisor himself with an entire team behind him helping you be and stay retired. We got to get Katia Flores back on the microphone as well, but you've got your estate planning friends, your tax friends, your investment asset friends, your annuity and life insurance, all of that. You got a whole team behind you, Dale, including yourself. For how many years? What is it? You've been doing this for 3 or 4 years?
3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah. How long you been doing it?
I started in the business 85, moved to the Valley in 89, so that's when I became independent. So that's a few weeks, I think.
Just a long time. Since 1985, helping people be and stay retired and helping them untangle their financial knots. And as you say, it isn't so much about the investments or the dollar. You know, of course, the dollars and everything are important, but for you, it's what do you want that retirement to look like? What do you want to do? Those are usually the first questions you ask, right?
The hardest question people have to answer. It's really because think about it, you're working. What do you enjoy doing even now in your spare time, on your weekends and stuff? Maybe it's just getting away, a little traveling, thrift stores. Maybe you have hobbies, or golf, or bowling, or whatever. Well, what do you want to do or do more of once you are able to stop working? And if the money's dialed in, you've got the income to do what you want when you want, what would you be doing or doing more of? Please think about those things, because that's really the enjoyment of helping people when they set up their retirement, seeing them do all these things. There's a few that I can think of. I can't get them to spend money. And it cracks me up. I said, well, what do you like to do? Well, I like this and that. And they've got gobs, that technical financial term of money. And so, but they, but they're happy, maybe they don't need to do tons of things, but what if there are things you really want to do? We love helping you find ways to do them and do more of it.
Absolutely. That's what we do here. That's what Dale and the team do at Sudas Financial, is help you be and stay retired. That's the question we want to ask you. What do you want retirement to look like? If you had 7 days a week, every week off, what do you want to do? That's, I think, one of the harder questions for people to answer. So let us help you with that.
In fact, just even this, within this past year, I could say at least a half dozen that say, well, I would really like to do more traveling. And I want to go see this and that across the country or out of the country or whatever. And I said, well, okay, so how much roughly would the two of you need to spend on a trip? And let's say they said 10,000, okay? And maybe a couple trips a year. And then I build their plan out and I show them, well, guess what? You could do at least 4 trips a year without running out of money, you know? In other words, they have more options. Not that they have to take 4 trips, but what if they would like to take more trips?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. So let's figure that out, and let's figure that out together. We were talking about the retirement toolbox. What kind of tools do you have in there? And a lot of people start out, of course, with that 401k. Are you using that efficiently? It can be a good tool, a strong tool, a sturdy tool, but are you using the first ones that you ever started off with? Have you reviewed them? I also then want to move into some of the more maybe exotic tools. What about things outside of the 401k? Some of those tools down those further aisles. Again, some tools can be really effective, but they can be really complicated and they can be expensive. What about outside tools to help you be retired? Insurance, annuities, are there types of annuities, opportunities to change your older tools? Do you like to use some of these alongside retirement with the 401k?
Well, yes, there's a lot of different tools ones can use, and I like coaching, especially the younger ones or the ones who are retiring now, coach their families, their children, and maybe grandchildren, how to use properly structured life insurance, not only to provide, for their loved ones if something happens to them, but more importantly, how to use it as a vehicle for tax-free retirement income. There's some excellent tools out there. Plus, a lot of these, more up-to-date modern life insurance policies provide additional living benefits. For instance, you and your spouse, you have life insurance with the XYZ company, and a lot of them will allow you while you're alive to use that tax-free death benefit for things such as a terminal illness. Okay, Let's say you have $500,000 death benefit. A lot of the companies allow you to use up to 75% of that tax-free for whatever you want if you're deemed to have a terminal illness. So then you just go finish all the bucket list or whatever you want to do, right? Or what about a critical illness, heart attacks, strokes, renal failure, things of that sort. There's various amounts you could get. But even more importantly, if you get to a point where you need help, so you have a chronic illness where you need help getting up and down or, in and out of the restroom or bathing, dressing, things of that sort, long-term care issues. A lot of them allow you to use even up to 25% of that death benefit per year to keep yourself at home, pay for in-home care. So, 25% of $500,000 would be a chunk of money, wouldn't it? $125,000 a year. If I did the math right in my head real quick. But anyway, so, there's some tools like that can give you extra benefits. Life insurance no longer is used just to leave money, for your loved ones. There's a lot of neat aspects to life insurance nowadays.
For your own tailored written financial plan for your retirement, call Dale Sutis of Sutis Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
And how do you know, you've been doing this for a long time, but for our listeners out there, is there different kinds of insurance that help you do that? I know a lot of different ones talk about accumulation, but are there ones that you prefer and ones that you don't prefer?
Well, they all have their place. A young couple, they need life insurance to protect their family in case, the husband dies. He's the main breadwinner and they've got this mortgage. So, maybe you do get a term policy for $1 million, that costs very little. Term is like renting. Sometimes we, have people that get a whole life policy. It costs more, but that's like buying compared to renting a home and buying a home. You pay more, but eventually you could stop paying and it has some equity built up into it and it stays or keeps going your whole life. There's a variation also that's called a universal life, and there's some neat tools with indexed universal life. So you can have the growth of your money in the pot based on, an index strategy where you're not risking a penny on the market, but you can take the upside of the market and not the downside. And, not to confuse people, but that they have their place. But with those, we tend to show people how to max fund, put excess money into them up to whatever IRS allows you to. So now that money grows, and the growth is more eventually than the cost of insurance. So, that one you can keep indefinitely, but you can also access money from the pot of money tax-free. So there's some neat tools like that with life insurance.
Okay. And you can help folks evaluate that, see what tools they have. Because what I've also noticed is that there are a lot of companies out there that will offer life insurance while you work there. You can put in a few dollars and the company matches as well. But are those kinds of life insurances, are those as portable? Like, can you bring those with you, or do you have to pay more to bring them with you? Or is it better to get your own insurance on the outside?
It's better to get your own. I mean, that's a nice benefit, but if you stop working there, you don't have it.
Okay. So to keep things moving along, you want to make sure that you've got your own policy on the outside.
Exactly.
Okay. And you also had mentioned annuities. We talked about that a little bit before, but do you want to start something like an income providing, long-term care rider providing annuity earlier in your career, or is this something where we have a little bit more accumulation? Is this one of those more complex tools that we think about more 50s or 60s?
Yeah, it depends. When people are young, the downside of an annuity is you can't really take money out before 59 and a half. You'll get a 10% penalty.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but on the other hand, I did have a younger couple I'm working with. They're in their mid to late 40s, making very good money, a lot of savings, but they have the goal. He has the goal for them to be able to retire between 55 and 60. So we're actually going to position a former 401k over into one where, in about 9-10 years, if needed or wanting, we can turn on guaranteed income. And the way it projected out was like, close to $80,000 a year guaranteed starting out income for them. So that would be a good tool. In their case, it's a good tool. But for most people, it depends on the whole picture. So there's no cookie cutter method, coming from us. It's just, what do you need? What do you have? What do you want to be doing? And how do we position things so your income will last, keep up with inflation. And I projected out to the women's age 100, because people are living longer. So if you live to 100 or more, is your money going to last? Is
I've
your
got a
income
story about that when we come back from here. But since 1985, Dale Sudas here, helping you be and stay retired, California. Let's make sure that you've got a plan in place, one that works for you, where you can't run out of money, you're not taking too much risk, maybe even that we can leave some to the next generation. Starts right here with a phone call, 833-856-1382. That call right now will go to the Secure Call Center. We'll have somebody schedule an appointment for you. You're not going to interrupt Dale during the show right now, but if you have more questions, you can write Dale. You can write him at dale@sudas.com. That's Dale and the @ symbol, SOUTAS.com, or go to the website, SOUTAS.com, and click on the Events tab so you can schedule yourself, maybe your spouse too, to come see Dale and his entire team live so you can get your financial planning questions answered. More with financial advisor Dale Sudas when we get back right after this.
Do you know how much you might be paying in fees within your retirement accounts? Just 1 or 2% in hidden fees can eat into your savings and potentially hinder your ability to achieve your retirement goals. But how do you know if you're currently paying these hidden fees, and how do you find them? Dale Sudas and the team at Sudas Financial can help you find the fees within your investments and explore solutions designed to assist with minimizing them. Take control of your retirement savings so that you can work towards keeping more of your hard-earned money. Call Dale Sudas and Sudas Financial today for your complimentary fee review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Is having $1 million enough to retire? For years, many have considered this to be the goal amount to have for retirement savings, $1 million. But that's the $1 million question. Is that enough for today's modern retiree? Are you sure you've saved enough for a 25 or 30-year retirement? Are you concerned about covering large expenses, including taxes and long-term care? If so, you're not alone. But there is a solution. With a comprehensive financial plan, you can take control of your finances to help you achieve your long-term goals. With Sutis Financial, let us help you work towards peace of mind by implementing a complete retirement strategy. Call Dale Sutis of Sutis Financial Planning right away to receive your complimentary written financial plan. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can write Dale at dale@sutis.com. That's SOUTAS.com. Welcome back to Retire Your Way with Dale Sutis of Sutis Financial. And today, the Retirement Toolbox. I can remember the first toolbox I got. I even have those tools and that toolbox, but my toolbox has grown. I honestly go back to what you were saying, Dale. My first toolbox was actually my dad's toolbox stuff. And we used to drive my dad crazy because me and my brother, we'd leave the tools all in the wrong places. And he'd be like, where's my stuff?
Oh, yeah. Get in trouble. Don't touch my tools.
Where's my stuff?
Who moved my tools?
Yeah, who moved it? Because he knew, and he didn't always have the perfectly designed garage, but he knew where his stuff was, even in his own version of mess. And if we moved it, oh boy, we're in real trouble. But
that's where I'm at, my garage.
Yeah.
It looks like a mess, but I know
it's
where
time,
my tools are.
It's time for you to clean up your tools. And the same thing, we want people to clean up their financial tools. Now, here's the thing.
Exactly.
There can be expensive tools. There can be tools that we don't use very often. There can be tools that can just be overwhelming to somebody. How about those estate planning tools? Do you usually find that in people's retirement toolboxes when they walk in the door?
Most of the time, no. And what is estate planning tools? So, a lot of people, okay, let's make it simple. If you're 18 or older, you should have a minimum of a financial power of attorney. So if you're unable to handle your financial affairs, you're assigning somebody you know and trust to act for you as your agent, okay? You should also have, at a minimum, a healthcare directive. If you're knocked out and they take you to the hospital, whatever, you've got somebody who you know and trust that can speak up for you, to the medical staff to tell them, give them permission to do certain things and stuff. Now, if you own real estate, it's wise to have a living trust. Now, I'm not an attorney, but I know enough with the attorneys I worked with for too many years, that a trust outlives you. That's why they call them living trusts, basically. So let's say mom and dad have this house, and if they both die, they want it to go to their kids. But if you don't have a trust and the house market value, not the equity, not if you have a mortgage and the difference, but the actual market value is $185,000 or higher, it will go to the state, to the probate system. And the state decides who gets your house. And to show you why you don't want the state to handle it, I actually had a little lady probably 18 years ago came to see us, and her mom inherited $91,000. And no problem, okay, that's great. But where did it come from? Oh, it came through probate. Who died? Her ex-husband.
Oh.
So think about it. Do you think the ex-husband wanted, that he wanted his ex-wife to get, that much of his estate? Well, who knows? He's dead. But the state decided, well, we should give some to the ex-wife. So in other words, if you would really want your property, primarily real estate, to go where you want it to go and how you want it to go, then you set up a living trust. Now, mom and dad own the home now, so they're in control. When you set up the mom and dad living trust, mom and dad are the trustees, so they're in control. It doesn't change control by setting up a trust. It's just setting up a tool that outlives you to make sure now the property stays out of the public eye, the state doesn't see it, and it stays a private family matter, and it passes how and where you want it to go. And, you don't have to spend 10 arms and 3 legs to set up your estate plan, which is a living trust, financial power of attorney, healthcare directive, your wills, and some other things that the attorneys can explain better. You know, there's attorneys that can set them up with the proper wording and all that. And once you set it up, you can even amend it if you needed to. So those are things we coach people to set up because, again, I mean, none of us want to die, but if something were to happen, how do we make sure our wishes are carried out? Well, we have to have the estate planning documents in place.
For your own custom complimentary Retire Your Way review, call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
These are not often the tools that we find in people's estate planning or in their retirement toolbox on their own, right? Or you usually have to kind of nudge people in the right direction for this stuff.
Well, yeah, even on our initial visits, what we call a discovery visit, as we're getting acquainted, that's one of the questions we ask. Do you have a living trust? Okay, so it's sad. Through the years, as you know, one of the things we've been known for is helping families back in the day when you could have no more than 2,000 and get on this nursing home Medi-Cal program. And we had to show people how to protect their assets, right? And it's sad when people would come in and for their loved one who's not able to handle their financial affairs, they don't have any power of attorney, they don't have a trust, and we can't do anything to protect their assets. They've got to just spend it down because they've never set anything up to give ones the power to act with ones like ourselves or others that can guide them on protecting their estate. So I know of one couple years ago that, I got after them. I said, do you have a trust? Well, no. And they're up there in years. I go, well, why not? Well, I don't need it yet. Well, it's like auto insurance. You don't go buy the insurance after the accident. You get it ahead of time. So you need your legal documents set up now. Don't wait. And it doesn't have to cost a lot. If it's just you don't have real estate, you just need your financial power of attorney, healthcare directive, you're not going to spend very much to get those set up properly. And, even the tip is, let's say you have your spouse is the one acting first for you on money and healthcare. Well, then I want an alternate in case she's unable, let's say. And then I want a second alternate in case that second person's unable. So I like 3 deep, and I recommend one person at a time because when you have 2 people at a time, even though I coach my mom, when you talk to this attorney, set it up this way, one at a time. Well, the attorney has to do what she said. And she said, put, me and my sister on the healthcare and me and one of my brothers on the trust or financial power of attorney, which after she died, one of my brothers in the Bay Area, I'm here, mom's house is here, which really made it a hassle we both had to be involved in, all the paperwork to sell the house and do all those steps. So it's smart to have one person at a time as well. So there's little coaching to help you know how to make it easier for you and your loved ones.
What's I think also a simple one right now that we can give to the listeners that they can kind of do on their own, but just to even get them thinking in the right direction, reviewing their beneficiaries. I know it sounds simple, but when did you start those accounts? Whatever accounts they may, life insurance, annuities, your investment accounts, your bank accounts.
IRAs, 401ks.
When have you reviewed those beneficiaries? Do you find holes in people's estate planning with that alone?
Oh, yes. And be careful too. Oh, I set up a trust and the attorney coached me to get everything in the trust. And I have my 401k, my IRAs all, if we die, it goes to the trust because the trust says it goes to these kids or grandkids or wherever, right? Wrong. So we want to be careful too. Yes, you need your beneficiaries listed properly. If you have checking, savings, CDs, you have investments that are non-retirement, you have, other accounts and such, as long as you've named beneficiaries, they don't go through probate. Now, you can't just write on the side of your house, I want it to go to these kids because somebody can paint over it and put their name on it to be silly about it. But more importantly, you have retirement accounts. If any tax-deferred money, so that could be your 401k, your 403bs, your IRAs. It could be you put money into an annuity and it's grown for years with a lot of tax-deferred interest. Please do not name your trust as beneficiary. Okay, why? Because everything above $15,000 of tax-deferred money will be taxed at whatever the highest marginal rate is, which today is 37% and likely to go up down the road. So you want to name beneficiaries. It could be charities, it could be people, and that way the kids, and the other tip is you got 2 kids and you got 4 grandkids. Each of your children have 2 kids. So in this example, instead of 50-50 to the kids, do 48-48 and 1% to each grandchild, which opens a door if your son or daughter doesn't need that taxable money from your 401k, your IRAs. They can disclaim it to their children without having to pay a penny tax on it first, so they can use it for college or whatever, and pay less taxes on it. So there's some neat strategies. Those are little things we just take you by the hand, and we're going to coach you on. We're going to be asking all those questions, things that you might not be thinking about. Make sure your toolbox has the tools in it properly, and they're ready to go when you need them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dale. We talked today about the retirement toolbox. We didn't have time to get to what happens when you inherit tools from the family. I remember when I got some of my tools from my grandfather, and the same thing is can we do this efficiently? Do we know exactly how to do it? How do we split it up between the other kids and grandkids? So many conversations we can have about your retirement toolbox that we had some fun with, your 401ks, how to use insurance or annuities properly on the outside, all those estate planning tools, and of course the investment tools. If you're not sure if you have the right tools in your toolbox, you've got some old ones, please call Dale Sutis and the team right here. We will get you started on your discovery meeting. There's no cost to it. We'll find out what tools you have. Are you using them properly? But it starts right now with a phone call, 833-856-1382, or go to Sutis.com, SOUTAS.com. For Dale Sutis, I'm Spike Spangle. Thank you so much for listening. We'll both be back next week. As a valued radio listener of Retire Your Way, Dale and his entire team of retirement professionals invite you to schedule your very own complimentary retirement plan review session. 833-856-1382 is the number for you to call. If you don't have a retirement strategy mapped out that includes low-fee investment elections, tax minimization strategies, decumulation plans that will last as long as you need them to, then call for your very own retirement review session, complimentary for our valued radio listeners. Are you able to lower your taxes in retirement? Are you unclear about your Social Security, Medicare, investment fees and risk, or how to produce guaranteed lifetime income so your lifestyle and goals don't have to be changed with the ups and downs of the market or taxes? Call Dale Sutis with Sutis Financial and be confident you can retire your way. Schedule your own comprehensive and complimentary retirement review session. Don't just live in retirement, thrive. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Each individual investor situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. All rights reserved. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. A Roth conversion may not be suitable for your situation. The primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. The information provided is to help you determine whether or not a Roth IRA conversion may be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Please review your retirement savings, tax, and legacy planning strategies with your legal and tax advisor to be sure a Roth IRA conversion fits into your planning strategies.